Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talk About Houses. I'm Todd.
I'm Juana.
Okay, today we're going to do a Las Vegas real estate market update. We're also going to talk about the job growth in Las Vegas, which is literally off the charts. Number one in the nation. Okay. We're going to talk about some other cool stuff happening in Las Vegas. But the most important thing is, in just a few days, in about 5 days, the Army-Navy football game. Both the teams are 5-6. So whoever wins, it's going to have a 6-6 record. It's going to be Navy, just so you know. So I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but Navy's going to win. Okay.
So go Navy, beat Army.
Go Navy, beat Army. The other thing is we are less than 150 subscribers from 10,000. So
basically do your part, subscribe, okay?
Subscribe.
Hit the notification bell, make it happen. We got to hit 10,000 or I don't know.
Please subscribe. If you're not a subscriber, just subscribe. Exactly. And then after we hit 10,000, we'll tell you, and then you can unsubscribe if you want. But until then, just subscribe. Okay. All right. So we're going to start with this data that we always show. This is the Las Vegas data. It's most up-to-date data, just came out. It's real-time market profile. That's the main stuff we want to look at here. We'll start at the top, the median list price, 535. It's declined, but it's normal for this time of year for median list price to decline, right?
Right. That is what happens in the U.S. In the fall and winter. So that's where we are.
What's interesting, though, is the per square foot data. We've got a big chart to show you the last 5 years of data. But price per square foot is the same as it was in September. That is not usual. It's usually still falling. And it was actually increasing September, October. So, and it's leveled off. Now for 3 or 4 weeks, it's stayed at 259, which I think is interesting. We also are going to have a chart showing some other cool stuff, which is the number of price decreases in the MLS is starting to drop, which is cool. And we've got other data to show you too. Inventory, you can see, is slowly climbing, but I've got a 5-year chart. And then the median rent, I don't have a separate slide for that. That you see how it looks like it dropped, it fell off a cliff. That line before it dropped off to $2,195 was $2,200. So that's basically over the last maybe 3 months, it dropped $5. And it depends on, remember, it's median. So it depends on how you measure it. So if somebody's got a $2,195 and then the next rent is $2,200 and one extra property comes on the market that's under $2,195, it drops down to the $2,195 and that becomes the median.
Right.
It's effectively rents haven't changed in a year. The actual numbers that Zillow put out was 0.8%. But we have none of the properties we own or manage have seen rent declines at all. They've either gone up or stayed the same, right?
Some have gone up significantly.
Okay. And we're talking about this year, like 2020.
Right. I mean, I just had one that went from 2,500 to 2,800.
Right.
So that's a pretty...
Was it just behind or what?
No. They wanted to renew, and we said, that's fine. This is what the going rate is.
I like it.
So, yeah.
Okay.
And this person didn't even blink. I mean, like, signed it as soon as I put that out there.
Okay. Well, and that's because they know what rents are going for. Okay. This is the price per square foot. We've had somebody either come in the comments or try to say, oh, prices are down 15% in Vegas. Okay. That's not true. First of all, if you look at the little diamond and you look at the diamond all the way on the right, the one just to the left of it, that was today, 2022. You could see that home prices are up for 2022. They're also up from that little bottom, which is the beginning of the year. They're still not back to where they were at that little peak, which everyone freaks out about the peak. But the peak is not relevant. It is a fake couple month thing where interest rates were still under 5% and people were massively overbidding, driving up prices, just trying to lock in a rate. And then sellers were taking advantage of that. You got 5 or 6 offers on your $450,000 house and you sold it for $490,000. Home prices, that's not an accurate reflection of what the value of a house was.
Correct.
If you look at these dots, it is pretty straightforward that all the way on the left, 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, home prices have gone up every single year on today's date. With fluctuations in between, right?
Right. So today's date apparently is the date.
Yeah, today's the date. Okay, inventory. This is also very interesting. Juana, inventory right now is usually at the peak. the most inventory. If you look at this chart, almost every one of these is up on the high side of where inventory normally is. Mm-hmm. And it bottomed out in September. Mm-hmm. It has only climbed by 40 listings total in the last week, which is negligible. It's almost none. Because remember, there's in Las Vegas, there's 4,000 houses. So we're talking... No, 400,000 houses.
Okay, thank you.
So 40 is like, nothing. It's 1 in 10,000 houses, right?
Right.
1 in 10,000 houses came on the market. If you spent all day on your bike driving neighborhoods, you would not have even driven by one of the new houses that came on the market.
Right.
Okay. What does this mean for the next 3 or 4 months when inventory is going to start dropping again? As you can see, all of these charts, the diamond is on the downward slope. It's getting ready to fall. We're off a little bit this year because goofy stuff happened with interest rates and stuff, but interest rates are starting to fall.
Right.
Substantially, they're down 5 weeks in a row. We did a whole video on that. Where does this leave us in the spring? If you look back at 2021 and 2022, I mean, it was the beginning of 2022. It was pretty bleak. Remember, it was super does this put us in Las Vegas into multiple offers and crazy bidding in the spring if inventory doesn't magically take off again?
Well, I think inventory is going to take off in the spring. And I've said this before. I mean,
maybe take off meaning grow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, and I think that's going to happen simply because people have been on the sidelines for so long. You can only put your life on hold for so long before the dam breaks and you say, okay, I'm just going to get on with life. And so I think you're going to see that. The other thing that you're going to see is the people that took their homes off the market for the holidays, they're going to come back too. So you have this double whammy. Now, the idea that somehow the holiday people are new in this cycle is clearly not true, right? Because this happens every year. People take their homes off the market for the holidays and then bring them back in the spring. But what we're going to have is we're going to have this whole pent-up demand of people who have been wanting to sell their home and wanting to move and have put it on hold. I think they're just going to throw caution to the wind and say, you know what, come what may, we're going to move.
Okay. I agree with that. I think it could happen. I would personally like to see some more houses come on the market.
Sure.
Okay. Properties with a price decrease. This is a fun one. What this chart shows is now the way this works, want to explain to them how it works how a lot of sellers do it where they list their house and then they have price reductions. It doesn't mean the market's falling, right?
No, it doesn't mean the market's falling.
And use some specific numbers so they can kind of follow along.
Okay. So you have the people who say, well, I'm going to list I know my house is worth $520, but I'm going to list it $585. So I have room for price reductions and I have room to negotiate. Now, the truth of it is that if they listed the house at market value, the house would sell faster and it would sell for more money, and it would just be better off for everybody. But some people have developed this way of doing business as far as selling their home, and that's the way they do it. Now, when you go from $585 to $520, it doesn't mean that you sold a house for a discount, right? It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that you did sell the house for market value, because remember I said at the start the house was worth $520. So it will sell for $520. Sometimes it will sell for less than market value because that house has been on the shelf for a long time, right? And buyers wonder what's wrong with it. And they'll actually pay less than they would have paid had the house been priced correctly in the first place.
The reason I'm showing this chart is this properties with price decrease is the only metric that looks like a normal year, that if I showed you this, you wouldn't think anything weird was going on with housing, other than maybe in the fall of last year of 2022, there were 60% of homes had price decreases. Now we're back to more of a normal market, but you can see this time every year it's declining. It declines all the way into the spring, except it's starting to look more like 2021 in the spring of 2022, which were kind of hot markets, right? So as you see this, remember, this is just the number of properties what this means is that when I put this number up here, it's 40%. This means that 60% of all properties hit the market and sold without doing a price adjustment. That is not a market that has anything wrong with it.
No, not at all. If anything, that means it's a seller's market, because sellers have not had to take any sort of haven't had to give concessions in order to sell their properties. So that's a very healthy seller's market.
And we are not agents that beat you up on your list price. Hey, if you want to list your price home at $550 when we just told you you're going to get $525, go for it. But we're going to have a conversation about, how it could be detrimental if you wait too many weeks and you don't get any showings, and then you're trying to do these price reductions and maybe you missed out. Like maybe you end up getting less money. We personally have never done that with any of our flips, any house that we've ever sold. We've never played the game. We don't need room to negotiate. We can negotiate just fine without needing room.
Right.
I would rather negotiate multiple offers than negotiate with one person trying to cut the price of the house.
Right.
Okay. Now, here is another chart. Okay, this is the market segment chart. What's important about this is this breaks the market into 4 markets. The top one is the median price of the top quarter of all homes is $1.2 million, right? This is where Juana, she lives up in here. This is like all the people that she deals with are up here. And would be an extremely low number for you, right? Everything would be multiples of that higher up. The rest of us live in the world of the bottom 3. But what I think is interesting about this is if you look at new, absorbed, and days on the market, okay? This shows how many came on the market in the last week versus how many were purchased in the last week, okay? So this shows you that not many, like in the 625, that second tier, only 2 houses more came on the market that were bought. That is a pretty tight market. And it was pretty close for the other ones, but not measurable. Basically, as stuff comes on the market, it's being bought. That's what this says, right?
Right.
Okay, here's the other thing. All the way on the right, days on the market. Look at the bottom 2 numbers. They're the bottom half of the market, the bottom quarter and the second of the bottom quarter, okay? 465 is the median, 379 is the median. So these are affordable houses, okay? I would say that 379 is the entry level for Vegas, right? 49 days on the market. What's a normal market? For a normal market for all homes, how long would you expect homes to sell on the market?
6 months.
6 months, 49 days, not even 2 months.
Nope.
It is still and remember, this is the median days on market. Half the homes are selling in less than this. Who knows about the other half? Maybe they're overpriced, or I don't know. I just thought that kind of caught my eye when people said the market, Todd, the market is so slow. Have people gotten used to the last 2 years of homes flying off the market in a week? And if the house doesn't sell in a week, it's obviously everything's overpriced.
So the market isn't slow. You're dealing with very limited inventory. So with limited inventory, people are just hoping that the right house will come along, because the right house hasn't come along for them. So because of this limited inventory, it just takes a while for people to kind of go, well, I have to compromise on all these things. Okay, fine.
Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip over and talk about all the cool things that are happening in Vegas, including the labor market. Here's an article. This came from the state. Nevada's labor force grows in October. Unemployment rate unchanged. So we do not, despite what you hear, are having job losses, yada, yada. We have the opposite. And the reason why we have the unemployment rate unchanged with growing jobs is because we have net immigration. So it's not just we have a set number of people here that trade off jobs. We have people coming in. So I'll go through this. According to the Nevada Department of Employment Training Rehabilitation's October economic report, Nevada's unemployment rate was unchanged September, October. This just came out. It takes us a while to get this data. 5.4%. The labor force in the state grew by 5,500 in October, marked the 10th consecutive month the state has seen an increase in its labor force.
Right.
Now, here's the cool thing. This is the data for the state. Now, if you look at this chart, you've got the whole U.S., okay? So the U.S. is that top line. It shows that year-over-year growth was 1.9% in the labor market, right? If you go to Nevada, Nevada was 3.4%. So Nevada actually led all states. It was the highest of all states with growth, year-over-year job growth. Now remember, it's a little unfair because we're a smaller state, California would never grow 3.4% a year. They don't have enough people to grow. They couldn't house them, right? But the state is growing pretty quickly. But it did lead the nation. What's interesting is when you go down to the metropolitan statistical areas, Carson City, Vegas, and Reno. Vegas, 3.6%. That led the nation again in job. We lead the nation in job growth. It was the highest job growth in the nation.
Right.
The whole U.S., Las Vegas.
We're always first or last. In this case, we're first.
So we wanted, did we add the requisite, 3,600 houses in 1 month by new home builders to house all these people?
No.
Were we even close to 3,600 houses?
No, I don't think we added 360 houses.
No, okay, guys, listen to this. We added 3,600 jobs, but we didn't even add 10. We didn't even add enough houses to house 10% of those people.
No.
Okay, that was all the data we had for Vegas.
All right, so fun times. Remember, we need you to subscribe. Hit the notification bell, like the video, share the video, leave us your real estate related comments. And we appreciate you being here. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.
Bye.